Yeah, I served in the Army from 2005, January '05 to 2016. I was an infantryman, 15 months in the surge in Iraq, lost 19 brothers there. Another 15 months in Afghanistan, lost 3 brothers there for a total of 22. In 2010, PCS to this area, 6th Ranger Training Battalion. I was a ranger instructor for a couple of years, and then I went to dive school and the dive supervisor course down in Key West and supervised the dive locker there. Yeah. And that was the culmination of my career. So I've struggled with alcohol for most of my life, but it really caught up to me on the back end of my military career, created a lot of consequences. Um, the TBIs, post-traumatic stress, self-medicating, drinking yourself to sleep at night. I struggled off and on. I was forced into treatment in 2012. And then, as we were talking earlier, 2015, I was back in treatment a couple of times. Ended up kind of ruining my life with alcohol. And I was given the book, At Hell's Gate, written by Claude, I believe in 2018 or 19. And I read that book cover to cover in a day. I was pretty captivated by it. And come to find out, he's here in the area that I'm living in. When I find myself in times of struggle, it all comes back to the breath. Just slow everything down and bring it back to the breath. It's the most simple, easy thing that can be done. It goes along with just anything that I'm doing in life. Like I told you about the diving before, everything comes back to the breath. It's just the most simple, easy way, to ground myself, to slow myself down and realize that I'm all right. This too shall pass. I don't know. It's just so basic and fundamental, but it's so effective. It's being amongst others too. Not everybody's pain and suffering is the same. Actually, out of all of us here, there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of uniqueness in the stories of suffering too. I'm very fortunate to be here today.
My name is Keith Ongyo, and my weekly Zoom veteran meetings have helped me in numerous ways. Number one, I'm not isolated. I have the ability to talk to other veterans. Number two, I would say there's a lot of commonality in post-combat experiences with a number of veterans, whether male or female, whether from Vietnam to Afghanistan to Iraq to Southwest Asia, Bosnia, Kosovo. It doesn't matter. There's a commonality thread through all the military who have deployed, that when I bring up a certain behavior that I want to talk about, whether it's drinking or drugs or rage or unhappy family life, there's always a fellow veteran there that says, oh yeah, that hits home with me as well. Knowing that there's other people out there that have experienced or are experiencing the same thing you have lets you know that, as Claude AnShin Thomas often says, that you're learning to make peace with your unpeacefulness, and you're not alone in this journey. And that really touches me, to know that somebody else has walked in those shoes before me and had these problems, and it's not just me. I'm not alone to deal with them. I have advice and mentorship and friendship with other veterans.
My name is Len Follis. I enlisted in the Army in 1989 and retired in 2010. A kind of reminder that I'm not by myself. with the difficulties that sometimes veterans have as we try and reintegrate back into the world. It almost seems like that never goes away, that kind of frustration, that kind of wanting to belong, and sometimes you can't find that on the outside. And so I know when I come back to these veteran retreats, I feel like I'm coming back into the fold. Another retreat member called it being with his tribe again. And I guess that's probably a word that I could use also, being back with members of your tribe. And I didn't know anyone specifically from this retreat and for my service, but we all kind of experienced the same things. In the practice of deep listening, you really feel like your tribe, these people, these members of the tribe, are actually listening, and they can understand, and that was everything, or is everything for me. That understanding, I think we all want that from each other. And in this environment, this container, as AnShin calls it, it's a safe environment for that. Do it, grab at it wholeheartedly. And the reason why is because at these retreats, it gives you the camaraderie. It reminds us, not so much because I feel that all of us as veterans know that discipline and hard work can get us where we need to go. We all learned that in our service. And I think that coming to these retreats can kind of remind us. So like I said, after my service, I probably got a little bit lost. And by grabbing hold of this specific discipline, it helps me feel stable. And then I can do other things again. And that is what it's enabled me to do.